ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती.
Now I would like to invite our own Deepal Pandya ji to come here and for a few minutes give us a good message of unity and divinity. Deepal ji.
नमस्ते, हरिओम. और आप सबके हृदय में विराजमान वो परम दयालु परमात्मा को मेरा साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम. आज सबसे पहले इतने दिव्य संस्कृत के मंत्रोच्चार की ध्वनि में हम पावन हुए हैं. मैं आप सबसे अनुरोध करूंगा कि हम अभी चैत्र नवरात्रि का पर्व चल रहा है और हमारे बीच हमारे कर्मठ योद्धा श्री मल्होत्रा जी भी हैं, कई सारे युवा वॉलेंटियर्स और हम सब धर्म रक्षक यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं. तो प्रार्थना ये है कि कैसे हम ईश्वरीय शक्ति को हमारे अंदर आमंत्रित करें, उसको पुकारें और वो शक्ति हमारे थ्रू काम करें. काम शक्ति करती हम निमित्त बनते हैं. तो आइए, I would like all of us, if possible, to rise, stand up, and we're going to recite a very powerful mantra. जिस मंत्र से माता भगवती ने असुरों का संहार किया था, वो माता भगवती, वो दिव्य मंत्र से हम संकल्प करेंगे कि हमारे योद्धा, हमारे प्रिय कर्मठ जिन्होंने अपने जीवन का बलिदान दिया है, अपने इंटेलेक्ट के द्वारा, बुद्धि के द्वारा लोगों को जगाना. तो आइए हम ये संकल्प करेंगे कि ईश्वर माता भगवती उनको बल प्रदान करे, उनको शक्ति प्रदान करे और हम सबको उसी ऊर्जा के साथ धर्म रक्षा के लिए प्रेरित करती रहे.
I would like to invite our Council General JAISWARAAJYA to come here and say a few words and encourage our work.
Namaste, dear friends, distinguished guests, Mr. Devendra Singh ji, thank you for your very gracious invitation. Dr. Rajiv Malhotra ji, Madam Indrani ji, and all your distinguished guests here. I haven't had a chance to meet most of you this year, so I would like to take this opportunity to wish you a happy new year. And 2 days ago we celebrated 74th Republic Day of India, so my greetings to you on this special occasion as well.
Dhanyawad Jaiswal ji. So we are moving towards our main program, but before we do that, we need to perform the national anthem, and I would like to see if our students are ready to perform national anthem of United States of America. Please come up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
welcome Vibhuti ji. Come on the stage and relieve me. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Namaste and greetings for this particular event. When Devendra ji asked me that would I like to be the MC for the evening today, to the morning today, I said normally MCs are beautiful looking people who have a lot of hair, who can cut jokes, make you laugh, they are adorned with jewelry. Why me? A big, bald and not so handsome a guy. But then, as the luck of the draw it is, I'm here. You have to live with me. Lakshman Prajapati ji, यहाँ पधारे भाई. Lakshman ji is not only a cardiac guy, दिल की बीमारी संभालते हैं. He is a wonderful bhajan singer. Wonderful bhajan singer. इनकी बात जो है दिल से निकलती है. He's driven 7 hours to come here today. Think about it. That's the contribution. That's the commitment. That's the commitment we need to build in ourselves.
So then, if you go, what should we do for Sanatan Dharma? All we have from Bapu Asaramji, Swami Narayan. Do you have Swami Narayan from? Anybody from Swami Narayan? Swami Narayan, Narayan, Hari, Hari. O teri leela jag se nyari, nyari, Hari, Hari. Swami Narayan, Narayan, Hari, Hari. We have ISKCON people here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. बोले कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की मधुर मधुर नाम हरि हरि ओम. मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ ये सब? ये समय नहीं है भजन गाने का. मेरी आवाज़ भी और लोगों से कमज़ोर है. मैं आपको ये चाहता हूँ, जब आप धर्म की तरफ बढ़ते हैं तो यू नीड फिजिकल पावर. स्थूल शरीर के लिए रोज योग, कपालभाति, अनुलोम विलोम, सूर्य नमस्कार करना जरूरी है. इन्होंने बताया मेरे को, तो मैं और भी पक्का हो गया. फिर सूक्ष्म शरीर के लिए माला जप करना, ध्यान करना जरूरी है. यही बताते हैं. बोलो राजीव मल्होत्रा जी की.
Now comes that moment why we are here today. And we are here to listen to Rajiv ji, whom I have known for a long number of years. And he has that power of writing, researching, expounding the thought that must reach your heart and mind, make you think. So I have read several of his books, and what I want to say to you is, he doesn't need an introduction to you. I don't need to say he's such a great guy, because he is. You all know that. So without much ado, I invite Rajiv ji to share his thoughts, not only about the snakes in the Ganga, but what threats we are facing as Indians. Where is the problem coming from? And what is the one question that I want you to focus on? Knowing what we know now, where do we go from here? That is the key question to answer. Gyan and knowledge is good, no doubt about that. Information is good, no doubt about that. What are we doing with it defines your character, defines your next stage. So without much ado, Rajiv ji, everybody is waiting to hear from you.
Namaste everyone. It's indeed an honor to be here before such a large, wonderful gathering. I want to start by thanking Devendra ji who put this whole thing together, because 6 weeks ago, but I must also thank the team he put together. They have had Zooms every few days, and he's going on pushing them, making sure everybody's doing their job, and there are so many people in the team here. Then he organized a whole lot of volunteers. Then he went and got a whole lot of sponsors, I want to thank all the sponsors who made this possible. And then he went around, the most important thing is he went around to many different organizations in New Jersey from our community who generally don't give their name to support each other. I get invites to go to this mandir, I can go to one mandir and give a talk, they're always very happy, go to that mandir, this one. But they don't come together and they don't want to lend their name to somebody else's event. But he's managed to get 15 or 20 of them all sponsoring this event. And I think that's a very good beginning to bring us together. So as I was thinking of what am I going to talk about, do I talk about the problems we are facing? Do I talk about the solutions? Do I talk about my works, the books that we've done and what impact they've had? Do I talk about the next 4 books we're going to launch next month in India? What do I talk about? So it's a little bit of all of this because some of you are new and I want to reach out to you to get you interested in the work we are doing. Some of you are very knowledgeable about what all our foundation has been doing, and I want to give you what next, what is coming. So I'll give you a broad sweep, starting with the fact that this journey started for me officially, formally 30 years ago, although throughout my life I have been interested in these things. But for the first half of my adult life, I was a tech person. I came to this country to do a PhD in physics, and then I switched to computer science, and then I worked in IT, in the corporate sector, then left the corporate sector, became a management consultant to the big tech companies in the world, and then started my own companies. And I left after I had created about 20 companies in many countries. And I left because I had a spiritual experience which convinced me that I should, while I'm still young, still have the energy, I should do something else rather than go making more money. So for about 30 years ago, it was in 1994 that we started our foundation and I gave up the for-profit sector. From then till now, I decided that making more money, profit, salary, any of that is not of interest. And so since then our foundation has been very active. The first part of the work was to give funds to other people to do the work. So I thought maybe I'll give grants to Harvard, which we gave for many years. We gave grants to Princeton University, to University of California, University of Texas, Columbia University. We started many programs before it was fashionable for Hindus in this country to fund this kind of research. We were doing it. But then I reached the conclusion that that's the wrong step after giving away a lot of money. That we have to do this work ourselves because they are not going to do our work. They will take the money and do whatever they feel like, which is not very favorable to us. So I was funding the wrong side. I was funding the people who are writing things not good for us and giving them money not going to change their mind. So then this guy, Swaraajya, a Dalit scholar who's at Harvard Kennedy School, teams up and he begins to talk all about the history of atrocities, and he's become a big poster boy for Harvard, really taking this issue. And he's now a consultant for all the American think tanks, for the US State Department, for the Commission on Religious Freedom, for all their foreign policy, all that he's sort of the sought after consultant because Harvard guy. And then there is something called Equality Labs in New York, run by one Soundarya Rajan. And they are into a lot of anti-Hindu activism. They took this idea and they claim that they've done a survey in Silicon Valley of Indian tech workers who come from IITs, and they found that there are a lot of atrocities against the Dalit engineers by the Brahmin engineers. So this they feel is wrong and legal action should be taken. And then someone called Wilkerson, an African American herself, they took her to India to do research with the Ambedkarites, and she came back and wrote this book which basically became a bestseller, New York Times #1 bestseller. She's also won the Pulitzer Prize, and she was paraded all over, Oprah and everything. And the book basically says that caste is the origin of racism. Not only caste is same as racism, But caste originated the racism in America. Because she says, her argument is, that when the British went to India, they studied Sanskrit. They became very fond of Sanskrit. And in the study of Sanskrit, they learned about racism through the caste. They learned how to bring down the lower caste through Sanskrit. You exclude them from knowledge. You only allow Brahmins to have the knowledge. You don't allow these guys, Shudras and others, to have knowledge. And so this idea of oppression and how to deny them human rights starts with Sanskrit and Shastras. And these British, when they came to America, they started applying this lens and this framework to have prejudice against blacks, as if they never had any prejudice before. And so that is the caste influence on American racism. This is the idea. And then she says that Hitler got this from the British also. And so Hitler's Holocaust and all that is also of Indian origin. So this is her thesis. Pretty dangerous. So you combine an African American who writes this with the Harvard professor who says IIT is full of this casteism business, and this Swaraajya in the Kennedy School who says that one of his quotes that we have is that in 10 years the Brahmins have killed 500,000 Dalits in India, murdered 500,000, murdered and raped 500,000. I mean, how we got this number? There's no evidence given, but he's a Harvard man, so people believe whatever he says. And then there is this Swaraajya who does the research, claims to have done the research, factual data gathering, based on which she gets quoted. There must be 30, 40, 50 newspaper articles, Washington Post and Wall Street Journal, everybody quoting her survey, saying, wow, she's discovered this new thing, how horrible. Indians are bringing their caste racism into America. And they're products of IIT, and they're bringing it into Silicon Valley. So then to cap this whole thing, they filed a lawsuit against Cisco. Saying that Dalits are being prejudiced there's prejudice against the Dalit workers because of Brahmins. And the Brahmin they named is an IIT man, whom I know, I've talked to him. So he really in trouble. He's gone into hiding or something. So Cisco defended the case, but this is just a precedence. This kind of thing will go further. And now there are caste sensitivity workshops being taught in Microsoft, in Apple, in Amazon, etc., in Facebook. So I get calls from Indian tech workers in these companies in Silicon Valley saying, please come and help us because we don't know how to respond. We are being required to sit in workshops where these people come, Swaraajya and Swaraajya, and they come and they go on talking about how horrible is caste and Hinduism is full of caste and this all comes from Vedic literature and all that. And this is why there was this dismantling Hindutva conference. This is the origin of that. It is not enough to fight. You have to know where it comes from. What is the root cause? This is the root cause of that, all of these kind of things that have been happening in the last few years. So we have uncovered something very new. And that is why we wrote the book Snakes in the Ganga, to tell you all this. So I went to Bay Area and I mentioned all this to Silicon Valley people. And they're all scared. Nobody has come out publicly. I said, shame on you. You are the IITians. I'm not an IITian. I'm defending you. But you're not defending yourself. And they're all into, the ones who are very rich don't want to stick their neck out because, it's too risky. They made their money. Why should they fight? And the ones who are not rich tend to be junior and they're scared. They are on H-1B visa. They might be deported. They might be fired. So I was hosted for a lunch off the record by Google people. A whole lot of Google Indian engineers, they came and said, we'd like to have lunch with you privately. So they took me to some restaurant and we had a nice brainstorm for a whole afternoon. And they told me a lot of stuff what's going on in their company and other companies. They didn't want to be named, so I don't want to name them. So this all went on. Then I found some venture capitalists with IIT background wanting to help me. So I said, I'm going to write this book which will take the matter in more detail, and this book is about 170 pages, so it's not that big, and I need sponsorship, I need help. So they said, okay, we'll look into that. Then I found that a group of IITians in Washington DC wanting to help, And Shashiji was kind enough, he went there, we had a fundraiser. So the IITians ex-IITians in Washington DC have made a group to help us. So this book, Battle for IITs, the back cover has a huge endorsement from Ron Gupta, who is the president of Penn IIT USA, which is the organization of all the alumni. He's going to be with us. So that's a big impact we've made. It's not just writing some book somewhere, but we've woken up the IIT worldwide organization. And they have now, next week we are going to edit that video. We had a private dinner and they're all making very interesting statements and Q&A. So we are going to put that up online. And they've told me that they'll put it up on their website, so it'll get more publicity. They're also doing a review of this book, Snakes in the Ganga, and when that review comes out, they'll promote it in their newsletter to all the IITians worldwide. And in September, they're hosting a conference in Washington, bringing all the Pan IIT people, all the leaders of all the IITs, and they want our book to be featured as the main theme of the conference. So this is what... So I could go on and give you a lot of examples of impact, but I think time has run out. So to just conclude with where are we now, what are we doing? We finished a 5-week tour for Snakes in the Ganga in India. We had about 25, 26 events all over. One of them was in IIT Madras, and we made a very nice video of IIT Madras faculty. Very surprised at what the attack is, but very supportive of my view, and they have come out very strong, supporting me, and against this whole Harvard mischief. And that's a video you should watch, it's about 1 hour long. And many other interesting things happened. Then we went to Canada for 5 days, then we went to Boston. One of the events I had was in Harvard University Faculty Club in Boston, with one of their senior professors, having an exchange with him. And this man supported me. He said, yes, Harvard has this problem because it's liberal arts is very left-wing, and they are known to be like this. So he was quite open because he's not part of the group that I'm criticizing. They have their own politics, you know. You want to criticize these people from Harvard, you get those people on your side. That's how divide and rule works for us also. So we have to learn how to use it also. So then I went to Bay Area and so on. And now we are here. Next month on the 14th of February, myself, Vishwajit, who's our video head, some others, we are going to India for 35 days to launch 4 new books. 4 new books we're launching. So I told you about this battle for IITs, I told you about the Ravana book and the power of future machines. So now let me tell you, there is this book called Varna, Jati, Caste. This is a primer on the history of Indian social structures, because there's so much nonsense, so much abuse, and our people get emotional or they give some little thing from here and there, but this is a book that 165 pages, everybody can read, it's very easy to read, written, it's for parents, it's for school children, it's for teachers, it's for everybody who is in Hindu society ought to have a copy of this, and it is just 250 rupees. So by the time it comes here, it will be like $7, $8, $9 or whatever it is, because we have to pay for air freight and whatnot, so maybe $10. So it's a very affordable book, very readable book, everybody should read it. And this is written so that we are putting all the evidence together to counter the negative propaganda. And we are not chauvinistic, we are not saying we are a perfect society, we are not saying we have no flaws. We do have flaws, but so do other societies have flaws, but we also have solutions. And we want our problems to be taken in the context and not over. So I think I'm being reminded that lunch is going to be served, and thank you very, very much for listening, and I'll be happy to take question and answers. Jai Hind. Mahavir Bhai, where are you? Please come up and
from the organization, and their members also donated separate. Here also Shushir Gandota. आज हम लोगों ने संडे जनवरी 29 को रॉयल अल्बर्ट पैलेस में राजीव मल्होत्रा जी की नई पुस्तक जो आई है स्नेक्स इन द गंगा, उसके लिए बहुत बड़ा आयोजन किया। उसमें 1000 से ज़्यादा लोग आए और सभी लोगों ने इसका आनंद लिया। सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण चीज़ ये है कि हमको लोगों को राजीव जी के काम से अवगत कराना है कि बहुत से लोग जानते नहीं हैं कि भारत को तोड़ने का प्रयास यहाँ से चल रहा है। खासकर जो हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी है वहाँ पे स्नेक्स इन द गंगा इज़ ए मेटाफर। स्नेक्स का मतलब है कि जो स्नेक्स वहाँ पे पल रहे हैं वो भारत में जाके भारत को तोड़ने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। उससे हर भारतीय को अवगत होना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आप समस्या को जानेंगे नहीं तो उसका समाधान कभी भी हो नहीं सकता। तो उनको जितना भी सहयोग आप कर सकते हैं, उनकी इन्फिनिटी फाउंडेशन है, आप उनकी वेबसाइट infinityfoundation.org पे जाके वहाँ पे उनको सपोर्ट करें, क्योंकि आपका सपोर्ट आपकी सिविलाइजेशन के लिए है, किसी व्यक्ति के लिए नहीं है। उस व्यक्ति ने अपनी सिविलाइजेशन को अपने कंधों पे 30 साल से ज़्यादा ढोया है और अब ये समय आ गया है कि हम उनका बर्डन थोड़ा सा कम करें और जितना सहयोग हम लोग कर सकते हैं मैक्सिमम वो करने का प्रयास करें। तो यही मेरी सभी लोगों से अपील रहेगी। धन्यवाद।
What does he say from that book? What type of relation do you have with Rajiv Malhotra ji?
इंग्लिश में बोलना, हिंदी में बोल रहे हैं? हिंदी में?
I don't know Hindi, that's why I'm asking in English.
क्या रिलेशनशिप क्या है? With relationship with the
Rajiv Malhotra ji. And
he wrote it.
No, what type of relation do you have with him?
Well, I'm just an admirer and supporter of Rajiv Malhotra ji. I have translated one of his book called Being Different into Hindi called Vibhinnata. But I'm just admire, I'm just a volunteer, I think that whatever I can do for Rajiv Malhotra ji, I would like to do. So he's our, like a guru type of person. He's doing so much for our civilization, and this is our duty to help him the best we can.
I think you have read so many books. Which book do you like most?
He has written almost 8 to 10 books. But I won't say that I like this one and I don't like the other one. I translated his Being Different, the one that I was very deeply involved in. But all his books serve different purpose to different era. Whatever the issue was at that time, he raised it. And then I think the one book was Sanskrit, when people were trying to demolish Sanskrit, he wrote that book. Otherwise, other book was I think Indra's Net, Breaking India. This book is being called Breaking India 2.0. Snakes in the Ganga is called Breaking India 2.0. So all books I think are important, depends upon which one you are more aligned to. And I think the Snakes in the Ganga is the book that we must support. Actually, we are supporting the issue that is being raised in the book. That's what it means. We are not supporting. What does it mean by supporting the book? We have to buy it and then read it and then do some action, because without action, we cannot be saved.
Okay. I have one more guest with me. May I know your name, please?
My name is Acharya Kovid Brahmachari. I'm from Ananda Marga Meditation Center in Queens, New York.
How did you feel? You are attending all these events and you heard many speeches. How do you feel?
Very wonderful, always inspired by Dharma talks and getting together with others for satsang. So myself, I'm a sannyasi since many years. I've been in Ananda Marga for 23 years. Since my youth, I was attracted to spirituality and meditation. So, yeah, it's something I'm dedicated for, and I always in service to help others discover and benefit as well. So it's great to come together with other spiritual people here.
Yeah, you said you are a saint. The book name is A Snakes in the Ganga River. So how do you feel when you heard that name?
Well, I mean, the snakes, there is obviously a battle here. I think, righteous people always have to stand up and use their rationality for progress in society. And there are different challenges upon our times. So every righteous person who battle for Dharma, I highly appreciate. And I myself, I'm engaged in the same battle. So I appreciate any right-thinking person who elaborate and make clear for the public what is right and what is wrong, so people can more clearly see. So, yeah, every scholar and every devotee who is engaged in that, I salute. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today we had organized a seminar or a public reception for Rajiv Malhotra Ji's book, Snakes in the Ganga. What exactly is that all about? It's a phenomenal research done and on how the situation in India is getting gradually, worse for Hindus. The most peaceful community, immigrant community anywhere in the world is today attacked as if it is the most venomous community in the world. Think about it. It's very important for every Indian, every Hindu to actually awaken. This is that story. The fact that this program was held today in New Jersey on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, and more than 1,000 people showed up. They contributed towards more and more of future projects that Rajiv is going to do. So I was privileged to be the master of ceremonies of this event, and it was fun to interact with people the way it all happened. So thank you for everybody for coming, and thank you guys for covering this entire show today. Thank you.
So namaste everybody. I'm delighted we had this huge event, 1,100 people at major venue in New Jersey. Many Hindu groups came together. Many people organized. There were 30, 40 volunteers. And a large event for launching my books, Snakes in the Ganga, and 4 other new books. We launched the Snakes in the Ganga 4 months ago in India. It's done very well. And 4 more books we're launching next month in India. These have to do with Indian civilization, Bharatiya culture, Hindu Dharma, India, etc. and the place in the world for these things. So I'm delighted at so much support, so much love, and look forward to hearing from you. If you want to connect with us, you go to infinityfoundation.com, www.infinityfoundation.com. If you want to watch my videos, go to Rajiv Malhotra Official, Rajiv Malhotra Official, and that's my YouTube channel. If you want on Twitter, Rajiv Message, at Rajiv Message, and there you can connect with me and keep in touch with what I do, and would love to interact with you. Thank you.
So what is the impact you are expecting on the Indian education system after you write these kind of books?
So the impact on Indian education system is very important because they are making some good things but also some mistakes. The mistakes they are making is that all the humanities and liberal arts are coming from Western theory, not from Vedic theory. And that is a big problem. So I'm trying to fight that and educate the Indian educators because they are so much in awe of the American system. American system is very good for science, technology, engineering, medicine. But when it comes to the history of India, the social science of India, the political thought, those kind of things, and social justice, human rights, those are not very accurate representation of India. And India should do its own rather than relying on outsiders.
Sir, what is your plan to reach out to youth? Because nowadays nobody is reading the books. How you will reach out to younger people?
Youth are reading because, for example, the book Sanskrit Non-Translatables, many young people are writing essays based on that. Many people have written essays on my previous book being different. So some of the learned young people are taking up PhDs, they're taking up advanced studies. So there are people like that. But for those who don't want to read, it's not only youth, it's even the adults don't know how to read or don't want to read. We are making videos. We have video channel, 1 hour videos, 2-minute videos, documentaries in English, translating into Hindi. So we need funding. I mean, basically we can do a lot, whatever, based on the funding we have.
Please subscribe to.
Please subscribe.
Subscribe to.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Please subscribe to
JAISWARAAJYA TV.
JAISWARAAJYA TV.
JAISWARAAJYA TV. JAISWARAAJYA TV. JAISWARAAJYA TV.
Please subscribe to Swaraajya TV.
Please sign in Ublood.
Please sign up for Ublood.
Ublood app sign in అవ్వండి. రక్తదానం చేయండి.